Hey, everybody, what's going on? Hey, what's up? It's us, Smelling It Council Yang, aka McCoy. You know, doing our thing on Tuesdays.
Ooh, party on a Tuesday.
Oh yeah, party on Tuesdays and everything else. And also because this month we're gonna wrap it up. I've been saying Women's Appreciation Month. It's Women's History Month.
But we can appreciate women like extra on this month.
Man, I'm gonna leave it there. Women's Appreciation Month. There we go. Because I appreciate all the hard work that y'all do, and even though it doesn't go recognized and whatnot, I appreciate all the hard work that women do from all over the world and whatnot. And so, hey,
Yay!
gang. Yes, yes. And so for tonight's topic is talking about Black women making history. And again, because this is Women's Appreciation Month, Women's History Month, however you want to put it, however you want to slice it, this month is dedicated towards women, and we want to highlight women, especially our Black women. We got to highlight our Black women because they seem to go unrecognized for a lot of achievements that's been going on. And we found it fitting, like, since it's the last Tuesday of March and we want to end March on a bang, on a good note, going to highlight our women and let them know that we appreciate all the hard work that they do, both in front of the scenes and also behind the scenes, and let them know that they are valued and loved no matter what. So whatever America says is full of crap, but we say we love you. And President Jimmy Carter, he loves you too, even though he's kind of, taking care of some other stuff. But
Yeah.
President Jimmy Carter loves you too.
That was such a good name, President Jimmy Carter.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So we're going to kick this thing off. We're going to talk about what are some influential Black women that you meet.
Woo!
Meet. Yay.
Yay!
Meesh. So, again, what are some influential Black women that have kind of helped either shaped your view or helped you with thinking, whatever the case may be? What influential Black woman has played a role in your life?
Oh. I have someone. I know that this is like, I guess our channel is sort of all over the place. It's not necessarily only political. But like one Black woman, well, there's been plenty, but like one that always comes to mind that's definitely influenced me is Issa Rae.
Mm-hmm.
I found out about her, like I'm sure a lot of you have, was from her YouTube series or her web series, The Misadventures of Awkward Black Girl. And it was just nice to see a Black woman in just a very regular ass role, just, being awkward and relatable. And I was in college at the time when the show came out, but it was, I didn't know how to feel when people were like, "Oh, you remind me so much of Issa Rae. You're like an awkward Black girl." I was like, I guess so. I never really saw myself as awkward, but I am awkward. Like I'll take it, whatever. But it was just really nice to, like kind of to be able to relate to somebody on screen, to, like to see yourself. And and like, for honestly, this is going to be embarrassing, but I will share it, whatever. Whenever they said, like, representation matters, it's always important to see yourself on screen or whatever. It was one of those things where, like, it's true, but you didn't understand it. It was just kind of like, oh, 4 + 4 = 8. Yeah, I know. That's how you do the math problem, whatever. But it's like, what is a 4 and what is a plus? Like, where did these numbers even come from, kind of thing. Like, you just tell them 4 + 4 = 8, and then you just go about your business. So that's how I kind of always saw like representation matters. I'm like, representation matters. This is what they tell me. It matters. But it, like, honestly, just like recently, I really understood what that meant, which was, some people literally cannot see themselves in a particular position unless they see someone that's like them or looks like them in that position. Otherwise, they may doubt themselves or feel like they just can't do that. Like, I've heard, like, on stories online, like from like Facebook or Reddit, where Black women who cosplay and other Black women just didn't think that they could. But once they see other Black women cosplaying, it kind of gives them the like the motivation to cosplay themselves. And so I guess, when I was witnessing Issa Rae on the Misadventures of Awkward Black Girl, kind of made me realize, like, yeah, I guess I've never seen a Black girl who was like me, because when you see shows with Black women, it's always just very strong, like very, like, just put together, reliable. Everyone like can lean on her, like, like fighting evil by moonlight, winning love by daylight kind of person.
Yeah, got that silly move. Come on.
I'm thinking of like Kerry Washington. It's like, she was fighting evil by moonlight, winning love by daylight. That's pretty much what Scandal's about.
There you go.
Watched it.
There you go.
When I saw like Issa Rae and like the fact that she created the show, and it was kind of low budget, and I think she like kind of made it herself. She like just gathered people that she knew within her network to kind of help her create this, and it just really inspired me to know that instead of, and one thing that she said in an interview that always stuck with me is, instead of networking up, network across. Because when you're in, showbiz doing comedy or something, and I'm sure every stand-up comic has always thought that like, oh, I'm gonna do an open mic at this fucking dive bar, and Tracy Morgan's gonna be there, or some famous stand-up comedian like Sarah Silverman is gonna be there, and I'm gonna just do the best open mic, and then somebody's going to see me, and I'm going to be discovered. This is how it's going to be, when that's not the case at all. But what you can do is just network across with the people that you know. It's like, okay, I may not know, Tracy Morgan, but I do know my friend Adam, who, likes to act in, on TikTok, and he lives down the street from me. So I could probably ask him, and he knows. It's like, and I know like Stacy, who's a writer, and I could probably ask her for some advice. And I have people within your network that you probably unconsciously gloss over, when they would probably, if you just ask them, they'll probably be down to read your script, give you advice, to act out certain things, to critique the shit out of your work, which happens. But instead of always like kind of going up like above you, and like networking up and trying to go to like fancy schmancy Miami parties and dressing up and being not yourself to try to impress somebody who will forget your name in 20 minutes because there's a million other women like you who are trying to get this person's attention, at this bar, then, like what's the sense of that? So what I liked about Issa Rae and Awkward Black Girl is that, she just found people that she knew, like within her network, and created this web series. And, she's always been like trying to create and do things, and then before you know it, she blew up, and like Misadventures of Awkward Black Girl catapulted her to HBO with Insecure. And I remember they were talking about they were talking about her untitled HBO series from when I was in college, like 2012, 2013. And Insecure didn't premiere until, I don't even know, like 2016. Like it was several years later, to the point that, you kind of would forget about it. It's like, oh, I guess maybe this isn't happening. Maybe she didn't get the green light, or maybe something fell. But, she just kept at it. And like right now she's, launching like natural beauty products. She has like Color Creative. She's on Patreon. She has like a whole bunch of like other things that she's doing, and she's just sort of like building this whole brand. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if she becomes like a billionaire with a B in, I don't know, 10, 15, 20 years. I don't really see, because I think she works, even though like she's a great actress and everything, and she's great in front of the screen and in front of the camera and all that, I think her strongest is behind the camera, which will make her be able to, put her fingers in a lot more pies, and I think that will just help her build her brand and herself even better. So yeah, she is someone that I really, really look up to. She's someone I really like, aspire to be like, and it's just kind of great to see somebody like that, in today's world.
Oh yeah, agreed. And and I couldn't agree with you anymore. Because of the fact that I think when we will look at like TV figures or whatnot, celebrities, actors, actresses, athletes, we're trying to find somebody that we kind of almost relate to in a way, and be like, I want to aspire to be this person, and I want to be able to say that this person that's kind of had a major part of my life. And even sometimes, it may not be an actual celebrity. It could be a close friend. It could be a relative. Somebody who's been there and who has had a huge impact. That goes a long way. That carries a long way. And oftentimes we tend to miss those. I call them hidden gems, because they are, glanced over and they're not thought about until like later on down the line. Like, you know what? That person said something that struck with me and it stuck with me for, years of my life. So I hear you. I do. And I'll answer my own question. And I'll answer my own question. And I would have to say, my grandmother. And I know a lot of people are like, well, she's not famous. Like, well, in a weird way, she kind of is, but then again, she's really not. But my grandmother, when she was young, she messed around and of course had my mom during nursing school, and even then she pretty much was very persevered. Like, she persevered a lot. She went through a lot. And I know the one thing that she told me was, especially when I was growing up, she was like, no matter what happens in life, make sure you get an education, make sure you learn something. She said, but at the same time, make sure you know who you are. Make sure you do things that are right, because as a young man, especially a young black man, you're going to have some issues. She said, but as long as you keep your faith, you do what you need to do, you'll be all right. I'm like, okay, grandma. And even now is like she's in her 80s, but she doesn't look like she's in her 80s. She doesn't act like she's in her 80s. I mean, the girl still speeds down the street doing five over. I'm like, okay. I mean, every now and then she throws a bowling ball like it's nothing. I'm like, okay, grandma, like I see you. Like I do, like I see you. Well, and even then, like when my mom couldn't help out, like she was always there, you know. And so with COVID and everything else, it kind of made it hard to kind of spend time with her, but she understood. So she's like very adaptable, very adaptable. And she was like, hey, whenever you guys come down, you're more than welcome to come down, spend time, and everything else, blah, blah, blah. And even then, she's like, I understand that you guys are busy and whatnot. She's like, I'm retired, semi-retired, but whatever. And, if you guys just want to come down, let me know. And we'll work something out. And it's cool just to kind of like just to have the kids come down and spend some time with her. And even then, just being around her is like almost like a kid again. Like, hey, grandma, can we go to the store and can I get a cup of donuts or whatnot? Like, don't worry, I'll pay and whatnot. But even still, it's like she still calls me her squirt. Even though I'm like 32 years old, she's been calling me squirt since I was what, 6, 7?
Squirt.
Yeah. I don't know how. Don't even ask me how that started, but that's what she calls me. Even to this day, she still calls me squirt. I'm like, okay, like, hey, grandma, hey, squirt, how you doing? I'm like, I'm good.
Just the whole dad.
Yeah, just a whole dad and everything else. But sure, I still take squirt, whatever, But it's just one of those things where it sticks, and it's like I love it. If she had not gave me that nickname of squirt, I don't know, it would be just like weird. It would be off. But it's just one of those things that she says and does where it's like, okay, grandma, you're still cool. Like no matter what anybody says, still cool. Even though yes, she has a temper. We're not gonna skate past that. She has a temper. Love you, grandma, but she has a temper. But other than that, she's really cool, like really down to earth. Loves to travel. I mean, goodness, this woman has been almost everywhere. Oh, and fun fact, she took care of Luther Vandross back in Cali. Yeah, she took care of. Yeah, he messed up, and either he had a stroke or a heart attack or something. But she was one of the nurses that was with him. I'm like, for real? Oh yeah. She said, yeah, shut the whole hospital down. We didn't know nothing, and then she said I was working at that time, so she was like, yeah. So we get into the hospital. We didn't know who was going on, what was going on. It was Luther Vandross. And she's like, I almost asked for his She said, I almost asked for his autograph, but I'm like, I'm on the clock. Like, that's going to be weird. I laughed. I'm like, you should ask for his autograph anyway. It's like, that would have been something else. She said, yeah. She said, yeah, sure. She said, but she said, the memory lasts a little bit longer. I'm like, that's true.
Yeah.
Like, that's so true.
Yeah.
So, oh, it's been on The Price is Right. Let's Make a Deal. She's been on that too. Oh,
that's
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So she lives in California?
No, she's here. She's here in Michigan. She, I think like a year, 2 years ago, her and my mom, they traveled to California. They do it almost every few years. They travel to California. If it's not California, then it's God knows who knows where, And she just loves it. And I think I get that flight fee from her because weather here in Michigan, it sucks. I want to get away and enjoy some warmth right now. So, yeah, that's the person who played an impact on my life.
Okay.
Liz. Nice.
Where, if you don't mind sharing, like what state or what area do you live in, Elizabeth? I think it's sort of interesting that was her first like friendship with someone of another, of another race when she had kids, So it's kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So I'm assuming there's probably not a lot of people of color.
Yeah, it's interesting. In Boston, at least, which I'm not in the city, but I heard that there's majority minority schools in terms of the students, the kids, the children in Boston public schools are. Oh, nice.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I forgot that. I forgot she was in Michigan. All these Michigan.
Yeah, everyone's from Michigan.
Dang. I guess it might be a sign for somebody. I don't know who, but yeah.
I don't know who needs to hear this, but Michigan is the move. No, but yeah, I know that when I saw that there was like majority minority school districts like in Boston, so you very well could be the case that even though the city is definitely not that way.
The term majority minority.
Wait, what was that?
I think the term majority minority is hilarious.
Yeah, it is what it is. The whole concept of minority will be weird in some decades.
Wow.
It is. It's just, I guess when it comes to the federal level, it'll always be like minority, but then certain districts, like in Boston, it's, there's still minorities. People of color are still minorities overall, but then when it comes to the children in the schools, they're majority. So you could very well have the case where a white, people would basically have more interactions with communities of color because of like seeing more of the newer generation. And so that could very well happen in public schools where you're like, oh, there maybe are some more diverse teachers, or you meet parents of a lot of the diverse kids, like, oh, your classmates are very melanated. This wasn't how it was when I was growing up. So I don't know, that was just something I thought of.
No, you're good.
But can you rewind? I had some stuff to take care of family early at the beginning of the stream. Mm-hmm. What was the question about like the women in our lives who are inspiration, or like I caught what you were saying with the grandma. I just didn't hear the actual beginning of the question, so I had to sort of infer a little.
Oh snaps! Three Rivers. Okay, Wildcats. Let's go.
High school. Okay. Very small towns with white people only. Yeah, I hear that there's towns like that in Michigan. I'm sure there's towns like that in Florida. Somewhere, but like one of my best friends, he's from like a one stoplight town in Michigan. I was like, there's really only one street light in your whole town? Like I can't imagine that. But
oh man, I can.
Those little towns exist. One street light.
I grew up in smaller towns, but not like tiny. There were still, you could maybe call them, I wouldn't call them cities, but very suburban areas. But not like completely in the middle of nowhere. You could say maybe 1.5 to 2.5 hours from the next city. I actually have to look at the population of where I was born, but I know at least when I was in Maryland, the places I lived were probably only a few 10,000 people in the population, which is not big at all. Not small enough to have one. Definitely not that small.
Wow, that's small.
Jeez, that's one of those everybody knows everyone towns.
Yeah,
I don't know how I feel in that town though.
I don't know how I feel about that either.
Yeah, like I see the perks. I think that's like where Dave Chappelle lives. He lives in like a town where everybody knows everyone.
I'll put it to you like this, and Liz, you could probably vouch for me for this one. It's one of those towns where it's like it's big enough that we have a Meijer and a Walmart within relatively close. They're relatively close. Like you got basically two stoplights separates Meyer and Walmart here in Three Rivers. Okay. However, everybody knows everybody, and they're all related one way or another. It never fails. It's big enough where Three Rivers is big enough where we have like, 2 to 3 grocery stores and Burger King, McDonald's, Taco Bell, Pizza Hut, Little Caesars, Subway. We got like 3 different Subways. Don't ask why. We got 3 different Subways and a few gas stations and whatnot. Boom. Yeah. Yeah, and like I said, everybody knows everybody, and somehow, some way, they're related to somebody else. And so, small town life, sure, is great, but at the same time, it's like if you wanted to get into some trouble, you probably don't want to do it here because your name will get spread around quicker than the wildfire.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever seen the movie? I think it's called The Candidate with Steve Carell.
I've heard of it.
Yeah, it's on HBO Max. I think that's where I watched it. Like Jon Stewart from The Daily Show created it.
Oh, nice.
And he, like Steve Carell's from New York. He's like this, New York liberal. Like a coastal liberal. And there's like a viral video of like this guy in like Minnesota or something, just like in this little town, and he goes over there to try to make him run for mayor of that town so they could start getting more like blue people in like the heartland of the country. It's a great movie, but like he arrives at night and then like they meet him like he's at a hotel, like some locals see him, and then by the next morning everybody knows his name.
Yep, that sounds about right.
I'm like, what?
That sounds about right. Like, case in point, I know we're going to go a little bit off topic, but again, case in point, I was helping my friend out doing her floors, and she had somebody that came over, and she introduced us. She's like, "Oh, I know who he is." Again, referring to me. I'm like, "I don't know who you are." She's like, "Oh yeah." She's like, "I know your mom. I know your stepdad. I know your brother and his wife and their kids." I'm like, "Holy crap!" Like, I don't know you at all. She says, "I know of you because of your mom, and when I look at you, you look like your mom. So yeah." I'm like,
there it is.
Like, yep.
I mean, at least they were correct. Like in South Florida, being Jamaican or any sort of Caribbean, you just have random people come up to you and they say like, "You look like family." It's like, oh my god, you look like family.
Oh man, yeah.
The thing is, Jamaica's a small island, so it's possible. Like, you could be like second cousins with this person, or what have you. But
oh man, it's like, man, if I knew if I sneezed the wrong way, somebody gonna say something's gonna get back to my mom. She gonna end up calling me, "Ronnie, you sneezed the wrong way. Like that was like 5 minutes ago. Like, calm down." Bless her heart. But again, yeah, Toby, to answer your question, yes, we're talking about Black women that made an impact in our lives.
Man, we started personal.
I said Issa Rae.
You said Issa Rae. I said my grandmother. You can say whoever.
Oh. I mean, they exist. I promise.
Black women exist.
That have made an impact on my life. I mean, not that your answer is. I'm not saying your answer is cliche. Your answer is good with your grandmother, but I don't want to be too cliche and just be like, oh, my mom and my older sisters.
I mean, I got another one who made a huge impact.
Yeah, you can go. You can go for it. If I come up with a good name, I'll chime in.
Yes, Liz. That's why I keep my life private, because of that. Yes. Oh, it's irritating, but yes. Like, did you know? Like, I didn't even do that. Like, no. Like, stop. Go away, Nancy. Like, just go back to your gardening or something in your backyard. Just leave me alone. Like, don't want to hear that. But one other person that I could say who kind of made an impact was Oprah, actually. And the reason why I say Oprah is because when I was younger, I thought I had this thought in my mind that her and my mom, they looked alike. And they act very much alike. And then what made it even funnier was every now and then my mom and Oprah would almost kind of wear like not the same kind of clothes, but it was very similar in style. You know, I'm like, wow. And so I knew that whenever my mom came to pick up me and my brother to go to her place and whatnot, it would be around about like 4:00. That's when Oprah would come, like between 2 and 4. That's when Oprah would come on. And so I would sit there and watch Oprah and just be like, you know, wow, she looks like my mom. But it was more so the fact that she was very smart, very intelligent, and had a way with talking to other people that uplifted them a lot. And I saw that in my mom as I got older, and she was doing the same thing too. I'm like, wow, like that's scary, but it's amazing and whatnot. And so Oprah, she was the one where if I miss my mom for whatever reason, like I turn on the TV, watch Oprah, and I'll be like, hey, my mom's on TV, knowing that's not my mom on TV. But still, as a kid, it was just that comfort feeling for me to say, like, yeah, I miss my mom. Oprah, you're gonna be my mom for like the next hour or so. And then when you go off, I will shut the TV off and I'll go read a book or go cry or go play the video game or whatever. But, kudos to Oprah. So shout out to you, Oprah Winfrey. You've probably been a mother to a lot of people like myself. So kudos to you.
Isn't that heartfelt?
That's good.
Ain't that sweet? That's cool. Yeah. There definitely is my mom who's done a lot. And I have more appreciation for all she's done as the years have gone on, because she teaches high school. She was a substitute teacher when I was growing up. That's really what I knew her as. And then I moved to the area in Maryland where they currently live because she got a job teaching high school full time. And just because of some dynamics with family, for like a little bit, about half of her family was living. My mom was taking care of like the three of us, so it was four of us in the house, and then my dad and another sibling were in another house, partially because people were finishing school, different jobs. So for like a year, it was kind of split, and my mom was basically overseeing the majority of us, and the youngest, because it was my oldest sibling who was back with my dad for a little. So the point is that, we were younger. I was probably in 7th grade, but still, like, we're still children, clearly. So I didn't really think of it that much, honestly, even until I kind of said it out loud like that. I'm like, wow, she really was the one holding it down in the new house. and with the majority of us. And then, I mean, the next year we kind of reunited, so it wasn't as big of a deal anymore. But I don't know. I feel like, yeah, still, like, it was a year, definitely. At least, yeah, a year, probably a little less than a year since it was like fall to probably in the summer. But either case, it was still impressive to think about. If anything, I would say, she's always been there for me. So if anything, you could turn to another appreciation post. A little too early because Mother's Day isn't here yet. But I mean, she got
ready for it.
Yeah, we'll get ready for it.
There you go.
I know that she has her master's too. So like,
Nice.
me and my siblings always talked about like her being hardworking and academic because she got it. Like I think because I know she had some degrees before, but like her most recent master's, or maybe it was her only one, was definitely when I was like, I don't know, I could have been 10 years old. Not very long before we moved to the other house, so probably 5th or 6th grade even. So I mean, she was and I'm the youngest, so like she was a whole mother of 4 children, working substitute jobs, and then going back to school. And yeah, so I mean that's like close to home, of course. And always had been some kind of presence even when I went away to school and then went away further, grad school, and then recently coming out here for full-time work. So there's still that kind of like, just that respect, especially as I become more of an adult and get more responsibilities. And then there's my sisters too. I don't want to have any favoritism here, so I'll tread carefully. But I would say one of my sisters has had like a lot of excursions internationally. And while I'm not sure I'm trying to be as well traveled, like she's done a lot. She's been to Nigeria, Senegal, I think Cote d'Ivoire, Ivory Coast for a little bit, maybe a little bit Sierra Leone, definitely France, which is where my siblings were born. And she's done a lot of traveling domestically for her job before the pandemic, which was like with event planning, promoting helping to organize certain events that weren't even in her field. Like a lot of them were tech events, like AWS with Amazon, or like events by Microsoft, Google, different little conventions and expos. I'm pretty sure some of those big cloud conferences. So she's done a lot. She's also done a lot of things involving like Afrocentric and pro-Black things, like especially in DC area, and connecting elsewhere, as well as a lot of things involving my specific tribe, Igbo, because she's been really like wanting to learn the culture and the language, because we were all born here. Well, my sisters technically they were born in France, but for all intents and purposes, we all grew up here in the U.S. So we were a little bit divorced from some of the culture. So seeing her kind of like be intentional as like a young adult to go back, right, and not go back. Well, yeah, she did go physically back to Nigeria, but more importantly, like to really learn the culture for herself, and always kind of doing different little ventures, getting the chance to travel, often for work, but she also had some things for fun, or at least for friends, maybe weddings. I know that both my sisters, I feel like, have been to weddings in Nigeria and France, and I was like, I've barely been to any weddings here in the U.S. What is going on?
Wedding. They're not fun.
It seems like quite a lot. Like it seems like a lot. Like some people are like, I'm actually surprised. Like you're one of the few people, especially the few women who are like not like over the moon and beyond to like attend a friend's wedding. I feel like.
Go on. No, finish.
No, I was just saying a lot of people always talk about, oh my gosh, I can't wait to be on my wedding. I can't wait to be a bridesmaid, yada, yada, yada. And I'm always in my head, I'm just like, as a guy, it's easier. I feel like in general with like, yeah, you have to still get whatever the dress code is, but it always seems to be a bit easier to dress for the occasions as a guy. Case in point was like going back to prom even, or in like a lot of things like that. You kind of just need the nice suit, tux, look clean, but so I can see it being more of a hassle for women, honestly. But a lot of times I hear just a lot of excitement, so that's why I thought it was funny that you're kind of like personally not the biggest fan of it.
It's just a lot. It's just a lot of money and like, so the weddings I've gone to have like never. One was like around the corner from me, but other weddings I've gone to, like I had to travel, and you have to like get a dress or something, or like look at least halfway decent to go to a wedding. You have to get a gift. That's another like money thing, and uh, and like I feel bad for saying this, but it's true. It's like, so there was an episode of Sex and the City where the main character Carrie, who played by Sarah Jessica Parker, she the one that was around the corner from me, this was like back in 2015. That was the only one that didn't have an open bar. All the others had an open bar. But yeah, no, it's essential to have an open bar at a wedding. Like otherwise it's not fun at all. Like not in the least. Yeah, so the episode of Sex in the City, Carrie goes to a like I can't remember if it was like a baby shower or I don't know, it was something where she had to bring a gift to this person, and this person had kids, had a wedding. I think this friend was divorced or something. I don't know. So she enters the house and she has to take off her shoes, even though she doesn't want to, but she has to take off her shoes. And Carrie's really big on shoes. So she takes off her shoes and leaves them at the front door. Well, after the party is over, her shoes are missing. Somebody stole her shoes. And, like those are probably like $900 shoes. Like that wasn't like, like it wasn't, no cheap thing. So she's very upset. And she tells the friend whose party it was, saying, like the owner, she was like, she said, "Hey, can you do you know who stole my shoes? Can you just give them back? If not, can you pay for the shoes?" And then the friend is like, "I'm not gonna pay for shoes. Like, how old are you? You're in your 30s and you still care about these things, like these shoes and whatnot." I was like, "No, I'm not gonna pay for it." And Carrie at first feels bad, and she's like, "Yeah, maybe that was like asking a little bit too much of me." And then I can't remember if she had like a conversation with somebody else or something, but that she made a valid point where, she's gone to her friend's wedding, had to buy a gift there, housewarming party gift, baby shower gift, had to spend so much money on this person. And she's been single, and Carrie's been single, no kids, no wedding, no housewarming, nothing. And this friend has never really had to pay or buy an extravagant gift or like a gift that's at least over 50 or, like a big amount of money for Carrie. She's never really had to do that. So, it's sort of like, it's sort of weird because, if I never experienced these things in my life, do I not deserve an expensive, extravagant gift? Should I just never expect one? Should I just never get one? And like, I went to your house, I took off my shoes for you. Somebody stole them. The least you can do is pay me back. So she sent the friend like a wedding invitation saying, "Hey, Julie, I just want to let you know I'm getting married to myself, and the gift, the registry is for these pair of shoes with this size. Just letting you know." Thank you.
Awesome.
I guess she had to communicate to her friend like that. It's like, hey, since you can't just be a good friend and pay me back for the shoes that somebody at your party stole, and you're sitting there like downplaying this, I guess I have to speak your language and saying, "Hey, I'm getting married."
Yeah, that is interesting though. That's I don't blame. Yeah, like I don't know if that was supposed to be as bad as or just like in general giving a comparison. If I hope it wasn't as bad as your actual experience, because that would be wild. But yeah, weddings are definitely something else.
I mean, like weddings are fun, but it's just one of those things where it's just like money. Like I've had I've been a bridesmaid once. I've had friends who've been a lot of bridesmaids, and they're saying like, "You're lucky. You've only been a bridesmaid once because being a bridesmaid like a ton of times is expensive. It's a lot of work. It's not really fun, honestly. I really hope my friend never sees this. I don't think she will, but it was just kind of like, okay, you have to just take care of the bride, make sure that they're not like, because of course, like it's their wedding, so they're freaking out. It's a scary moment. So you're just like, oh, you have to make sure that they're okay. You have to make sure that, the dress doesn't get dirty at all because it's a white fucking dress. So you have to make sure that this dress doesn't get messy or dirty or anything at all. You have to like, it's just recycle that day. I agree. You got to do something with that. You got to like, a lot of dresses just go to waste. And like brides dresses, wedding dresses are expensive too. Weddings are expensive in general. I could go on another small rant about just weddings in general. My goal is to have the cheapest wedding possible. I've been like I don't know how many weddings I've been to, maybe like 5 or 6. But I always think like, because it's usually up to like, men always assume that women have like this extravagant wedding in their head. But for me, I'm just like, I don't know. Weddings at minimum cost like $10,000. That's a lot of money, And knowing me, I'll just be stressing out, hoping everything goes okay, or more so, I just hope everyone's doing all right. It's like, yeah, I'm just gonna marry this guy. Who the fuck cares? But like, are you guys okay?
Come on, Al.
You're right. It's like it's like my guests are right. Are they liking each other? Are the drinks good? It was an episode from Sex and the City. So it was Carrie's only way to get her shoes back that were stolen at a friend's party. Yeah, so like, yeah, like I'd want my wedding to be probably like just the cheapest wedding. I'd probably just go get married at a courthouse chapel, and then come back, and all my friends and his friends and family and stuff are just out at somebody's backyard, like a huge yard or a huge venue, just eating and drinking and partying. That's what I want to do, honestly.
I will fly to that wedding.
Right, because then you don't really have to, like make a count. Like, oh yeah, and I also want it. So I mean, I don't care if this sounds ghetto or whatever, but I think it's a great idea for it to be like a potluck.
That's not ghetto. That's actually cool.
Yeah.
Idea.
Right. I don't really want things because like I usually just buy my own things. I agree. No, exactly. Fuck the wedding industry.
Big wedding. It is too much power.
Okay, that's what's up.
All right.
Oh yeah, love yourself. But yeah, no, I think that's a great idea because like the whole getting maid of honor, bridesmaids, making sure he and I have the same amount of bridesmaids, groomsmen, doing a whole thing, the whole speech and all that, hiring a camera person, flower girl, music. Like I'm not shitting on anyone who, had like a big wedding. Like those are awesome and great too. It's just not for me personally because it's just a lot of money. like the amounts I've heard, like $30,000 for a wedding. Like
that's a whole car.
That's a down payment.
Yeah,
exactly. That's a whole car. That's
a whole car.
That's 2 cars.
Man,
it's like I understand. Like, oh, this is your day, and you want to celebrate your day. I totally get that too. And that sounds awesome. But my perfect day, I don't think can be wrapped up in one day is the thing. Like it would have to be like a week, like maybe just traveling somewhere and then just going to like the little hole in the wall restaurants at places and doing like little nook and cranny local things. That's what I like to do.
Facts, Liz. Facts.
Yeah, true. I heard that the more expensive the wedding, the more likely the people will get divorced later. I don't know how true that is.
The more expensive the man, or the more
yeah, the more expensive the wedding, the more likely the couple will get divorced. I think at least in the U.S.
Two things, and I guess I'll well, yeah, two things I guess about that is because I know it takes the most, like, what the biggest thing that's supposed to derail weddings and relationships in general is money problems. And I know I was talking with some friends about this, I think Sunday night. Funny enough, at someone's house where you have to take your shoes off. So
Somebody stole your shoes.
So I've seen it with the same group of people. Someone's shoes have been stolen, not at that house, but at someone else's. Or at least they were missing. They probably were stolen, but at that, I don't know. I was just like, really? Is this what we're doing? Like, really? Like in the middle? Anyway, in the middle of a freaking panoramic, and we're stealing shoes. Parallelogram, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, and just like we can't.
Oh, I'm done.
Oh no. So that's the one. Is this? It's people. So if you spend a lot of money, I mean, hopefully that doesn't bankrupt you to the point where you're like, we have no money for anything. But also, it could be too much of like, wow, this is the high, and you're trying to chase that dragon. For those who, I mean, I don't do drugs, but for those who are familiar with drug terminology, chasing the dragon, where you do the drugs first time, you get that high, but then you never can get it again, and you keep trying, eventually until you overdose and die. Not funny actually, but with weddings, you have, I don't know, maybe you have that one initial high, and then it's just hard to, I don't know, recreate that magic. And I don't know. I mean, that's just my intuition. So,
well, yeah.
If you set that really high standard, and it's like, wow, that was like, it's not actually all I thought it was going to be, in the realities of marriage. So this, like you said, not crapping on or dumping on anyone who has these nice things, but It's like that's not really what the next X years of your life are going to be. There's a very strong reality, and hopefully that was discussed. Hopefully you guys knew what you're getting into. Hopefully you knew what. I mean, you won't know exactly what it is until you're living together, but still. So, yeah, that's unfortunate, but it's an interesting correlation.
It is. Oh, it is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I could tell from firsthand experience. Oh, yeah. I hadn't seen people get married. They didn't drop thousands on their wedding. And then later on down the road, getting divorced. Like, seriously, you dropped all this and now you're getting a divorce? Like, I think when I got married, I think total, I think we spent at most maybe $500. Maybe.
Oh, nice.
That's including her getting her hair done, dress, her shoes, rings, a tie, a pair of pants, and a shirt. Like, that was it. We're like, we're not spending thousands of dollars. Like, we don't have thousands of dollars. Like, no, we gonna make this thing work. And yeah, we I think at most was $500. We got married at the courthouse. It was very small. It was, yeah, really small. And so we were like, we were just talking, like, yeah, 15th anniversary comes up. What do you want to do? Like, let's travel. Let's go on a cruise, And
15th anniversary? Yeah. When did you guys get married? If you don't mind me asking.
We got married in 2008.
Whoa, that is right. That is coming up very soon.
Yeah, so this year will be 13 years.
Okay.
This year will be 13 years, and it doesn't even feel like it. It doesn't feel like it, and we even still to this day, we still laugh, we joke about it. We're like, man, isn't it crazy? Like, how is it that out of all of our classmates, besides maybe like 3, I could count off the top of my head. There's 3 of us from our school that's been married to the same person for like over 10 years. There's only 3 that we know of for sure. Everybody else, they're just now getting married. We're like, y'all just don't know. Y'all waited that long? Like, come on now. Like, we ain't got all day. We got one life, and if you screw up your one life, that's it. You are done. Done.
Oh, yeah, that's what's up, though. That's awesome.
Yeah. And so it's like, 13 years. This year will be 13 years. And like, and everybody else like, how much did it cost? Like about $500. It's like, really? Like, yeah. $500. No, it was not arranged.
I think she's talking about it's in her comment thread about going into it with that expectation of like a business. Yeah. With the business arrangement. And then everything, if you go into like that, then nothing will, I guess, be a disappointment. But I guess when you kind of have the fairy tale, right? Not saying that women should be striving for bare minimum, right? We talked a bit about Black love and how it doesn't have to be struggle bus central and all that. But if there is a sort of fairy tale expectation, thank you, Hollywood. I mean, Disney is obviously not like, no one's going to think that you're going to have a flying carpet or all these other things. So Disney is clearly not real. But even outside of like Disney and Pixar, you still have like other movies.
And TV shows and sitcoms, you know.
Yeah, definitely TV shows and all that. So, yeah.
She's hot. Woo. We
appreciate our Black women by not setting them up for
failure. Do not set them up for failure. Yeah, I'll admit to that. Do not set them up for failure. Just a question of topic conversation. Okay. Audrey Lawrence. Who is Audrey? Hopefully I pronounced that name right. Audrey Lawrence.
That name sounds familiar. I think she was.
Yeah, it sounds very familiar. I'm gonna have to start thinking of some famous people for this question as well.
She was an American writer, feminist, womanist, librarian, and civil rights activist. Ooh. She was self-described Black lesbian, mother, warrior, poet. Nice.
Okay.
I definitely heard the name. I've definitely seen her face.
Yeah, but I'm not even sure if I've seen her in this context. I probably have seen her like post on Instagram, maybe during Black History Month or even earlier this month, but I don't know. That's cool.
I like that quote.
Spend to the master's house using the master's tools. I agree.
I like that quote. That makes sense.
That's what I feel like what America is in general. It's just we're using the same exact tools to try to make something different. It's like, no, you're not gonna. We're gonna need brand new tools. But,
or either that or just blow it up. You know, I'm okay with blowing it up. Like I'm
okay with tearing it down and building a new, because you kind of have to. Like, I feel like any programmer or developer has been in the situation where you're trying to fix something that like somebody else coded or created, and you're like, I should have just deleted this and started anew.
I'm not a coder, but yes,
it's like the same concept. It's like, sometimes you just gotta destroy it and build a new.
Mm-hmm.
You're just taking way too much time trying to fix this already broken thing.
Yes.
It's like, let's just buy a new one and call it a day.
Yes. Put a match to it, light it on fire.
System down.
Yes. So, oh man, we probably got sidetracked, but that's okay. What this game is for. This is what we do.
What happens? Yeah. There are no's. This is the lever. That's a little bit different. The lever with the train where you have to like choose between two different It's like those morality. I forget the name of the meme, the trolley memes, and I don't know. People just shifting back and forth because we don't know what track we're on half the time and what bodies got run over. But it's fine. What were you gonna say, Ron?
Gosh. Yes. What? Lesbian? Like.
Yeah, that's what it said on Wikipedia. Yeah.
Agreed.
I know, and it's just getting like just overtly racist all the time. The system.
Mm-hmm.
And like, oh, Georgia turned blue. It's like, yeah, we can't have that. Let's make things harder. It's like, that's such a slap in the face. It's like, how do you want things to change when you don't want it to be easily changed?
Mm-hmm.
If you don't want people to change it. It's like, this is one of our last shots in democracy. It's like, hey, democracy prevailed. And they're like, nope, we don't want that. We don't want to lose our power. And I don't know, just creating white supremacy and some white evangelical Christian society. That's just going to make everybody poor and not stimulate the economy. Okay.
Sure. Yeah, I'll definitely have to look her up, or look into more of her works.
Okay. Go ahead, Toby.
No, I wasn't. If anything, I thought you were gonna follow up with another question, maybe more about since we talked about personal, maybe like other. Well, I know you mentioned Issa Rae, but I assume there would be like kind of like either historical figures or even sort of the modern figures, but let's focus on Black women. You seem excited. So I was wondering if that's where you were going with it, because in my head that's what made sense for me.
Yes, that was exactly where I was going. I was going to say, like, as of right now, who is a Black woman that you guys think, and it could be anybody, but who's pretty much been like pushing the envelope for a lot of things, whether it's politics, whether it's sports, whether it's academics, entertainment. There you go. Who do you guys see or seeing that's making history as of right now? That's a Black woman.
That's at the. Oh my gosh. Naomi. What's her name? Osaka, right? So she has just won. I mean, I'm gonna butcher the term. But she won. I mean, she literally was against Serena, right? Serena Williams, and she had won. So it was like,
Osaka.
Yeah, Osaka. Yeah, and it was nice to kind of see in real time. Well, I guess the torch is being passed. Like, obviously, Serena has done so much greatness, and we acknowledge that. And what just happened? But yeah, it was nice to kind of see. Yeah, Naomi's doing her thing. I can't say exactly what records were breaking, but at least the fact that she's biracial, she's clearly like darker skinned. You can't take that away, but she's like born / raised in Japan. So I thought that was very interesting. Yeah, she's done a lot.
Yes.
Apparently, she used to train in South Florida. A lot of tennis players trained in South Florida for some reason. I think it's.
Wait, who trained in South Florida?
Naomi Osaka.
Whoa. Okay.
Also, like, I wouldn't say, I don't know if this was like her main place to train, but like, I guess a lot of tennis players train down here. Like, of course, Serena Williams, just like she lives down here, and like her and Venus. And there's a new tennis player. And I just posted about her on Twitter the other day. Her last name is Stevens, Sloane Stevens. Like she's coming up too. Yeah, she lives around the corner, like down here in South Florida. Like apparently, like one of my good friends was like her neighbor or their neighbor.
Nice.
Yeah. So like it was cool like hearing her because I was like, wait a second, I think my friend told me about Sloane Stevens. But yeah, so she's making headlines in tennis as well. So I have a feeling that South Florida is gonna, I guess, blow up in the tennis world.
Hey.
I don't know if it already has. Even though, like, funny enough, I played tennis a bit in high school, but I didn't really know much about tennis. Like, I don't like follow the sport too much. But.
Agreed.
My oldest sister used to. My oldest sister used to play. I don't remember if she did it like competitively in high school, but I know she did some sports. But tennis was like a thing that I knew of also growing up. I knew of the Williams sisters, but I didn't know really as much about them. It's really only Serena Williams that I've heard more about in the last few years. So, yeah, that's definitely cool. Agreed to all of those people. I was looking up one person who she was American University's first Black woman student president. Unfortunately, there's a very dark part of this because she became the student body president, and then quickly she ended up there was a neo-Nazi website operator that led like a troll storm type thing, and she got harassed and all this other stuff. There might have even been some physical like messages on the campus. This was American University. Now she won $725,000, so jokes on them. And I think she did meet with at least one person who kind of came, it was anonymous, but one of those people who was involved in the effort essentially met privately to meet with her, kind of apologize and talk. And, whatever, the person's name wasn't revealed, but she gave I remember seeing, because this happened in 2019. So I remember reading the article and hearing her interview, and I'm just she shouldn't have to put up with this crap. Being Black, being a woman. But even then she just had some of the most grace and class, I guess you could say. It's just, it's crazy. No matter what garbage you kind of go through, you still present yourself in that way, right? Maybe you kind of have to, so that you don't get seen a certain way, treated a certain way, fall into an XYZ stereotype. But I just remember, I'm gonna send the link here in the private chat. See if I can find her name. Taylor Dumpson. She was president in 2017, but it looks like August 2019 was when this case came out. Yeah, there was bananas hanging from news. There's a whole lot of stuff, really nasty stuff that was going on that people were doing. I'm pretty sure some people, because it's a lot of that's anonymous with these neo-Nazi forums or whatever, but I think there may have been some people who were hopefully charged. So
yeah. Yeah. Agreed. Sorry, Toby.
No, you're good. I was just literally just thinking of more people.
I was going to mention Lena. I don't know how to pronounce her last name, if it's Waite or Wait. But she is a film writer, actress. She was on Master of None. She's the Black lesbian chick in the Netflix show with Aziz Ansari. But she's been doing, a lot of stuff too. Helping with the LGBTQ community. She's been doing a lot of writing projects and, acting roles and things like that. It totally slipped my mind as to what she did recently, but no, I feel like she's definitely a force to be reckoned with.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. The Thanksgiving episode that she wrote starring Angela Bassett. It was just perfect. It was just a phenomenal episode, and I think it won her won her an award. I can't remember if it was an Emmy or a Grammy, but it won her award. It was deservedly so, because I'm like, I don't know. I like, of course, I didn't see or watch everything in that category, but nothing could have beat that. Like, it's like, I don't care what else was nominated for that category. Nothing could have beaten that Thanksgiving episode. That Thanksgiving episode was absolutely phenomenal. It was perfect. So she's, you know, I'm happy that she exists. She's definitely going, like, she's definitely a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, Laverne Cox is awesome with you know, like promoting, you know, like trans like entertainment and you know, in film. Like she's in a lot of stuff. And I'm sure you've seen Laverne Cox. But I think so she has like some, I don't know if it's like a documentary or a show or something on Netflix. Apparently it came out last year. I do want to check that out though.
Yeah. Look at her now. I didn't know, because I never watched The Orange is the New Black, actually. There's like a whole bunch of shows.
Yeah, she won an award for that. I think she was the first trans person to win an award, I think. Yeah, Dave Chappelle's in Ohio. He's in I can't remember what it's called. It starts with a D.
Dayton?
Yeah.
Dayton, Ohio.
Yeah, he's in Dayton, Ohio. Or at least near there. There was an episode with him with on David Letterman's show on Netflix, like My Next Guest Needs No Introduction. And this was like during the pandemic, probably like around towards the beginning. And he interviewed Dave Chappelle and like went to his area. Like in Ohio or just like in general?
More than likely in Ohio. Yeah.
Probably. I remember, like, I can't remember how many years ago, but Florida used to have a law where you couldn't buy liquor on Sundays before noon. And that was just always the thing. I remember going to Publix sometimes on Sundays, the grocery store, and seeing the signs up in front of the wine saying, "Oh, you can't have this before noon." And that was just the thing, you know. You just accepted that. I was laughing. Of course, I was like 9, so like,
Or 9-year-old L.
Right, that didn't affect me anyway. But it's just sort of weird to think. Yeah.
Yes, he is definitely a gang. Yeah. Were you done with your thought, Elle?
Yeah, pretty much.
Give or take.
I was going to talk about like Georgia's liquor laws.
Oh man.
Because I went to college in Tallahassee, and that's I think like a 2-hour drive from Georgia or so, or maybe less than. So sometimes kids would drive up to buy like certain alcohols that they sell in Georgia but not in Florida, like 40 ounces, like 40s, to play Edward 40 hands.
Yeah. Oh Lord.
You had to like tape a freaking 40 around your head. It's so cold.
Oh man.
So much. So much drinking. Like you think it's like, oh yeah, I could do this. I could take this. But you can't like hold anything. You can't do anything. You just have to sit there and drink. But that's college though. I think I only did it with one hand. I don't think I ever done it with both hands though. Which still one hand is still a lot.
Yeah.
Even here in Massachusetts, and we have a place called Wegmans, right? So that's like, you know, a little nicer of a store, grocery store, huge store. And I remember that they would sell alcohol, wine, and beer. And I think I don't remember about an early time of not being able to buy, but at least when like I think the Wegmans would close like at midnight. So then you just basically they close late, and you just had to get the alcohol at 11 p.m. So I remember where they would have like sections where it's like they would close a bunch of like gates, and it's literally like you can't. or like some of the smaller sections where it was more like wine was mixed in with the other stuff. You just obviously can't bring it to the register because they'll tell you to take it back unless they're feeling more generous. But that's interesting. Yeah.
I guess the whole you can't have alcohol after 11 is the same as let's close our restaurants early to prevent the spread of COVID sort of logic.
Like that.
It helps. But,
yeah, I don't really know what the logic for the 11 p.m. was, to be honest, because
probably some mayor was trying to get votes and it's like, oh, we have a drinking alcohol problem. It's a college town. People are drinking and alcoholing. We can't have it. So I'm gonna have it so you can't buy liquor from grocery stores after this time. Some bullshit.
We don't even have happy hour in the state, which is a whole nother story. It's illegal to sell It's illegal to sell discounted alcohol in the state of Massachusetts.
Really?
On the other hand, weed is legal. So, yeah.
It's illegal to sell discounted liquor? I didn't know that.
At restaurants. Like, of course, if you're at a liquor store and they have clearance sales, that's whatever. But restaurants can't offer cheaper. I don't even think they can have cheaper food either. Well, besides, like, their own I don't know, like, how they gonna get around or how they, because like they have to be able to have their own deals for food, but I guess with drinks it's just a no-go. So that's that.
I've always had a guy pay for my meals in Massachusetts, so I have no clue.
Okay. Every single time in Massachusetts? Okay,
almost. It's either him or my sister. But
the plug. You said what?
I'm on vacation,
Yeah, you're on vacation.
There you go.
Yeah.
Like, I got money, but I just choose not to use it. So there we go.
My money, my choice.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh, that is awesome.
As you touch down to the airport, it's like, all right, we're just gonna grab a man. You're you're coming with me for the rest of this trip.
Let's grab a man. Yeah.
Some betting, of course, please.
Is it some betting?
No, I just said you just grab some man's, and I just said, some betting, like bet to make sure they're a regular human being.
Oh, betting, yeah.
Betting, yeah. Sorry, I don't know what.
Betting, yeah.
Okay, betting. Okay, no, that's.
Betting. Yeah, I mean, I know him. So it's fine.
Like, yeah, we was on the same plane ride for like 4 hours, and yeah, he's a pretty cool guy. He's coming with me for the rest of this trip. Like, sure, let's go. And by the way, you're paying for my food. No, you're not coming to my hotel. But just know, when I call you, you're coming to pick me up, and we're gonna go, and you're gonna pay for everything. No, you're not getting this.
At least let them know up front, and then that's their decision to make.
True. You gotta find the guy with the most Boston accent.
There you go.
I take this guy to the back. I don't know. I can't do it.
Pack my. Yeah, I was about to say the khakis. You're talking about khakis, the pants, or you're talking about the khakis? Like literal khakis. Pack my kai with the khakis. I can't do it either, to be honest, because
they
most
really have that accent sometimes. It's crazy. Like, that's a real accent.
It's a very real accent. It's an extremely real accent that I experience quite a lot. Maybe not these days because of COVID, and the people who I hang out with are not like natives to Boston. But that's the thing. Oh yeah. Okay. I guess this is a personal influence before I talk more about what do you call them? Famous people, I guess. But a high school teacher I had, she wasn't my teacher. She was a club that I was involved in, and she was like the organizer where, oh, this is like a throwback, but it was like a young researchers community project where the idea was to get, underserved groups and minorities in it to sort of look at, it was like research, but it was not like we did we did some presentations to like the health department. We were trying to figure out ways to a lot of it was about increasing health, especially when it came to health disparities and just like learning information, throw in some community events. Like sometimes there were like one big thing in Maryland was like about anti-smoking campaigns. So tobacco was a big one where people could do like film festivals around different health topics. And that was in the entire county. And this was organized by a bigger organization that the club I was a part of, but it was still a countywide thing in Southern Maryland. And so it was pretty cool to be involved with that. She was a Black woman. It's actually funny because, I'm not trying to put her full name out there, but it kind of works with what she had said because her first name was Spanish. Her last name is like African, and her hair was like these really long dreads, which is why it's funny that like what you said about the Black Afro history professor, because she literally taught African American history and at her school. I didn't take the class, but she did teach an African American history class, long dreads. So she was like, my hair looks Jamaican, first name is Spanish, last name is like African, Mrs. Adib. And so she was like, people just don't know what to do with me. But she's Black American. She grew up in California. I have to ask her more because now that I'm like, an adult, I feel like it would be interesting to hear. Like at the time I was like, oh yeah, cool, this is your story. But now it would be even more interesting to talk about life and stuff. But yeah, I mean, she was definitely a mentor, got a lot of experiences to we literally got to go to the Charles County Board of Health and give a little presentation on the stuff we did. Because we had like 4 subcategories. Tobacco was a big one, talking about health around that and initiatives that were done to reduce the smoking in the county. Like the one president of the school, his dad had died from lung cancer, so he ended up being really passionate about that. We had physical fitness, and we wanted to be creative with different ways. So dancing was a big one. We learned this is like a 2012, 2011. So we learned how to do like the wobble. We learned how to do, this is also the DMV. So go-go music, if you guys are familiar with that, really, really popular in DC. We learned like some, steps to like some go-go songs. I don't even remember everything at this point. There was the Get Silly, Get Silly.
Get silly. Yeah. Remember that song?
Yeah. There was also, what was the big one? Oh yeah, Teach Me How to Dougie, of course. So we would have like videos. We didn't really create them, but we would find tutorials on them and just be like, yeah. And it was weird because we're like high school kids presenting to the health, like our health department. Like we weren't like performing the dances in front of them. We were just like, yeah, we learn these different things, and it's a way of getting people's hearts up. And it's like, even if you're disabled, there are things you can do with your arms to, to be able to get your heart rate up. And so it was interesting, that what we did learn was pretty it was interesting. And the environment was another big one. We talked a lot about, especially in Maryland, you have the Chesapeake Bay, which is like a huge sort. Like it was like such a huge thing that it was infamously polluted. So the idea of cleaning up the water is also reducing your own footprint on the water to like not be as bad. Like if you, depending on the fertilizer you use and all this other stuff. So we learn about environment and how that impacts things locally. And I think the big one that nutrition was also a big one because they phased out tobacco because tobacco ended up being like pretty much a solved campaign in the whole state. Like a lot of, like my university became smoke free at the end of my first year. That was back in 2012 to 13. So when I was still in high school, they had kind of phased out tobacco and replaced it with sustainability, which at the time I didn't know anything about. But the idea of, honestly, sustainability grew a lot into, no pun intended, it really morphed with grew with the environment stuff, because the idea was you can build your own, like even in an urban center, you can build like a little shallow box. Like you would literally take like dressers and put like dirt in it, and you could have shallow plants like I think tomatoes and spinach, so that way you can have like an indoor garden even if you don't have your own land. And the idea was, sustainability. So there was like all these like cool little things that I had learned. So she definitely was a very big, and I mean, it's unfortunate that she didn't come immediately to mind, but like I did like have 3 years in high school under her. And I was the president, which was really not supposed to happen, but I became president of the organization like my junior year, in the middle of the year, because the old president had quit. That was a whole different story. So I was like, okay, I guess I went from VP to P. And even then, the rules were kind of fluid anyway. But then when I became the president, I felt like I was much more of that public face in a way. And I was like, oh my gosh. But, it was a good relationship. And I was able to visit her a few times coming back from high school. But it's been a long time. Like coming back from college, I meant during the breaks, but it's been a while. So shout out to Mrs. Adib for her influence. Teaching us the ways of, being involved in your community and stuff.
Nice. I guess for me, I would say my 5th grade English teacher, and she was Black and Japanese, and she actually got me introduced into, I'll say it like this. She got me introduced into the Japanese culture because the high school next to our elementary school, they had a bunch of Japanese students that were there. And so she talked to the program chair that was over there and asked, like, hey, is there any way where, some of my students could get paired off with some of your students? We could meet and talk and whatnot, and exchange cultures and whatnot. And they're like, yeah, cool. And so she was like, yeah. She said, so be here on this day at this time because we're going to go next door. This is a field trip, and we're going to. Oh,
really up to date score.
oh
my God, Keller, man. Good to see you.
Yes, go blue.
I'm out here not even following any college sports, but it's fine.
No, because boys, since you're watching it, who do they got? Who they're playing against?
I'm salty because UMBC came very close to come in. We would have gotten to March Madness again, except we were like up a lot against UMass Lowell, which literally is like a school that's 10 minutes north of me, in Lowell, Massachusetts. And
that is
like 2 points, like 70, 77, 79. And so we became the number 1 seed in the Northeast, and then we got knocked out. Like we literally just became the number 1 seed in the Northeast like a few weeks before that loss. So I was like, we were like the number 3 seed usually in the Northeast Conference. Then we became the number 1 seed just to lose by 2 points and like blow a 30-point lead or something in the second half. I mean, I don't want to say like that. I respect all the UMBC players and everything they've done. But I'm just like, dang, we could have like became the 16th seed again and maybe shock the world again. I'm just waiting like every year. I'm like, please let us get in. And if not, then I just like mentally check out. I think UVA actually won last year, which is not last year. It had to have been in 2019. UVA won. And UVA is the school that we beat by like 20 points, right? That was the whole upset. So UVA ended up actually winning the whole thing last year. And I think the UMBC Twitter gave them a shout out. It was something kind of funny where it was like you're carrying our spirit or something.
There you go. Yeah, no, because I know. I know Sunday Michigan played Florida State, and they beat Florida State. And I was eyeing the UCLA game and whoever UCLA was playing because I was like, man, depending upon who Michigan plays, this is going to be a tough team because, again, Michigan, out of all the Big Ten teams that got into the tournament, Michigan is the only one that's still standing. Plus, Michigan is ranks number one as a number one seeded team.
Okay, wow.
Yeah. Yeah, and so I know one of their players is pretty much done. He has a fracture. I think it's somewhere in his foot and whatnot. So he's done, and the rest of the players, they're coming in hot. Like they're wanting to take business, and I'm hoping they're able, once they beat UCLA and go into the Final Four. I'm hoping whoever they play in the final. No, they got the Elite Eight. I'm sorry. So they got the Elite Eight. And hopefully whoever they beat in the Elite Eight that gets them berth to the Final Four, that'd be so sweet. So sweet. The last time they've been into the Final Four, they could have won it. They could have beat them and actually gone to the finals. But again, young kids, over hype and whatnots, brains gone. So it's like, yeah. I was just saying that too. Leader is out for the season. Yes. That and again, he came from Central. If I'm not mistaken, he came from Central, which is the school I graduated from. So he's real good. Like, yeah. Man. So want to go there. But yeah, back to my teacher. She pretty much got me. She was the main one that got me introduced into the Japanese culture. And then we went to the high school and met with some of the Japanese students. And even then, okay, that's what's up. And so even then, just talking to some of the Japanese students and asking them, like, what was it like, in Japan, and had they thought about going back? And they're like, yeah, we want to go back and everything else. And she was like super cool. Now she's in Dubai, and we talk off and on. And I remember the last time we talked, she said, hey, she's like, whenever you get a chance to, you should come out to Dubai. I'm like, like, really? She's like, yeah, I think you will actually like it out here. It's like, it's hot, but you'll like it. I'm like, okay, that'll work. Derek Jeter? Yep. Derek Jeter King graduated from Kalamazoo Central? Yep.
Cool.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Central has a lot of talent. Thanks, boys. Central has a lot of talent and a lot of people that has played for U of M came out of Kalamazoo Central. And that's not to get me wrong to say like Lloyd Norks doesn't have any superstars on their team. They probably do, but Central is just one of those places where it's like they have like very famous people that graduated from Central, and they have like a whole wall dedicated to them. So it's fun. It's fun to see like all of our alumni that are doing big things and whatnot, and it's cool to watch. So big ups to Livers from Kalamazoo, even though, yes, you're out for the season, but big ups to big ups because you still give Kalamazoo hope, and especially kids in Kalamazoo. Like, if he made it to U of M and got that far, they could do it too, So kudos delivers. So yeah, that's my little take. Now, moving on to some more famous folks. Are there any famous individuals who have made an impact? Toby?
I've mentioned some of them before, and I'm trying to find some new names, like a lot of them in tech and STEM. I mean, I'll rattle off just a few that had been there. I mean, personally, it's nice to know. I wouldn't say that she like made the hugest impact, but the president of RPI, Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute. I mean, I respect for sure where she came from, being the first Black woman to get a PhD, I think, at all from MIT, theoretical physics, nonetheless. And then she's the highest paid university president in the country.
Oh wow!
So, yeah, I mean, they kept giving her more money when she was like kind of thinking of leaving. She's like, no, let's just throw more money at you. So I mean, that's a pretty big flex. Then you have what's her name? What's her name? I've mentioned the people that the Modern Figures podcast, Dr. Kyla McMullen, who's the first, I believe, Black woman to get a PhD from Michigan, actually. And she, I think, did it in the, let me actually look it up real quick. She got her PhD, I think, in computer information systems. I'm going to see if I can find, because she's a professor at University of Florida, but she got her PhD in computer. She was the first. Oh my goodness, why isn't it? She was the first and currently the only woman of color to earn a PhD in computer science and engineering from University of Michigan. And she's a tenure track faculty, which is the big, you want tenure. So she's a tenure track at UF, which is pretty huge. So it's actually kind of funny how it's both of your guys' states. And she went to my undergrad. Like she's 11 years above me in terms of cohort. So we were not there together, but we've met because of the sort of Black and Computing Network. And she also is involved in other sort of national efforts. She created the National Society of Blacks Computing Conference. She was the conference chair and does all this other stuff. And so I mean, she actually is like someone I definitely see. I'm like, oh my gosh, you're killing it. You know, she's funny and like, you know, she's pretty cool people. I'm gonna post the link just because I can. What are you about to say?
I want to say like it's funny how like just her alone is connected to all three of us, whether we want to admit it or not. So it's like, hey, cool, I'll take that. I will take that. Kyla McMullen, boom. Copy link. Okay. Well, you go next.
It's a famous Black woman who's made an impact. She's a bit controversial, but I'll still say that. Amanda Seales.
Ooh.
So I listened to a lot of her, like I listened to her podcast a bit, and I listened to like her whatever she says on Instagram. And I mean, she's definitely said things that I didn't quite agree with, but I do like how she breaks things down a lot. Like the other day, she was talking about difficult people, and yeah, I think that's what it was. And I guess somebody asked, like, well, how do you know if you're a difficult person, or like, what is a difficult person? And I mean, I wish I like, wrote this down, or if she like put it like in her own post or something. But one of the things that she was saying about what constitutes as a difficult person is someone who like micromanages, could be like a difficult person, someone who's not getting on with the getting along, not getting along with the getting on or whatever. And I'm doing a terrible job, but like someone who like wastes your time, but like gets upset if you waste their time sort of thing, who's like but she said like a whole bunch of shit, and it was just like, yeah, because like there was like this one person that like it just kind of came to mind, and I was just like, oh, okay, I wasn't crazy. Like there's sometimes when you need to hear somebody say something where you're just going on through life, and you have some sort of relationship with somebody, whether it's like a coworker or a friend, a romantic relationship or whatever, and like I do like her perspectives on like dating and things like that, just to um, especially like when you're a woman who speaks her mind, doesn't really want to deal with bullshit, and just doesn't have time for bullshit. So like I really like her and appreciate her because she kind of puts it in a way that at least just doesn't really make me feel crazy. And like, part of me is still kind of like, it's like, oh, I'm kind of tired of being single for so long, but at the same time, I don't want to just settle for anyone when I'm, secretly like wanting to leave this relationship, or like wanting to completely change myself,
Mm-hmm.
to kind of like fit into somebody. And I understand that there's going to be like inevitable change when you're with somebody, but it doesn't have to be like you have to completely change yourself to fit whatever his view of a woman is. And where, because like his view of a woman is obviously warped, because everybody's view of what they think they need is warped to some aspects, and like you'll never quite get there. But like overall, I just like her perspectives on being like a businesswoman, being like a dating and things like that. And I just really like how she breaks it down, because she always like stands tall, stands firm. At least she puts that on. Like, and also like there are times when she like shows sadness and weakness, and like sometimes she'll be crying, which is just sort of it's a good thing to see, because especially as a Black woman, I always feel like you have to put on like such a strong front, and that is so exhausting and so tiring, because there are times when we want softness as well. And that was one of the things like she did mention like a couple of months ago, about like that's kind of like what she's looking for. It's like, yeah, you do like the strong thing, you do the tough thing, you do like the hard stuff, but now you just kind of want softness, especially like in a partner. And when I hear phrases like protect Black women, look out for Black women, it's like, yeah, no, like for sure we need protection in certain aspects and stuff like that, like in the workplace or just out and about. Like don't just assume that we're strong and we can take care of ourselves. If a man starts attacking us, like realize that we are a woman as well. But like what I just don't see is to love Black women, to to like like the softness aspect, like the woman aspect, like because sometimes you just need softness, like I just want I want to be able to just like lay down my hair kind of thing, just to like bear all the talk. And as like someone like me personally, that's sort of like what I like, is just to be able to talk to someone, and I don't want to feel like I'm constantly defending myself, or like trying to, especially when it comes to like talking to a man, just to make it seem like, no, my feelings and my thoughts are valid, I'm not crazy, like these things are real, please listen to me, please believe me, I need someone to hear me. Because like oftentimes like men especially be like, oh, maybe you're just being too emotional, maybe it was just this, you're crazy, or like like it just like sort of mitigates a really big issue, or that just kind of gets brushed off the shoulder. So not only should we like protect Black women, but we should like listen. We should, I'm not saying we have to believe all Black women or believe all women, that's not what I'm saying, but if you're talking to like multiple women, multiple Black women, and they all seem to have, well, most of them, let's say, seem to have a commonality between like a like a viewpoint or perspective, maybe try to hear it out. And it sucks that it needs to be like multiple women need to say these things. Like you can't just listen to one woman, which realistically you should be able to, but we live in a society where we need like 40 women to come forward to let people know that this man like sexually assaulted them for them to believe that you can't just have one woman say that, which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
But when it comes to anything, like hearing multiple people give like their point of view or perspective on something, and if you see like a commonality between things like, oh, I'm just not really being heard, or I don't feel like people are really hearing me, maybe Black women just aren't really being heard. Like that could be the case. You might be prone to like, oh, she's a Black woman, I'm expecting her to be this way, and then when she is not, you may tune out, or you may like no longer feel interested or what have you. But yeah, definitely, in addition to protecting Black women, listening to Black women, like love Black women, like be soft, be vulnerable with Black, allow them a space to be able to just bare their hearts and find comfort in that. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hey.
Hey, Mark.
Wow.
I don't know if I told you guys, but I actually hung out with Mark. I don't know if I said this on the stream. I can't remember, but
You said to us at least.
Yeah.
But,
Because Mark also, he's been on the stream before, but he also lives in South Florida. So
there you go. Nice.
Yeah, it was fun.
So when is your turn, sir, Ron? And if you're still on Mindful Skeptics, what are the two of y'all?
Man,
what are the two of y'all waiting for?
I don't know, but probably for Michigan to get on his act right.
It's you got. I know you got a family, of course, and he has a girlfriend. So I'm just giving you a hard time.
What'd you say, El?
No, and Boyce has family too, like kids.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I know that I think his son or sons, plural. He could correct me if I'm wrong. I know they're both in. I know they're both in sports right now. They're both in sports. And I know my oldest, he's running track right now. And I know that the first track meet is sometime next month. I got to look at the schedule again. But hopefully we can make some time and meet up somewhere, and just chit chat, say, hey, we met finally after how long? Who knows? But yeah. That's soon to come. My person who I would think has influenced me or has made an impact, I would say, is Karen Hunter, believe it or not.
Okay.
Believe it or not, Karen Hunter. Shout out to Karen Hunter. And I didn't know of her until
the Yang interview.
Yep, when she interviewed Andrew Yang. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. So I saw the podcast and I was listening to her speak, and like she had like a bunch of brilliant ideas. And then I'm like, well, okay, this is cool. And so I just kind of looked at some more of the things that she's said and done. And Taco Wednesday.
I guess it was a Wednesday, huh? So there's a taco place called Naked Taco, and there's like a way to get a free shot of tequila or something. Like you just have to ask for the house shot. I was like, okay. So I was like, yeah, let's go here and have a drink. I think it was like within the hours, like, but yeah, it was fun.
Nice.
We technically are supposed to have buy one get one free margaritas too, but we only ended up drinking one of the margaritas. I didn't realize that until afterwards, but it's fine, whatever.
Oh no, not the margarita.
Yeah. Yeah. So I watched a few of her episodes. I'm like, she's really intriguing. Like, I actually like what she says because she comes from a different perspective, from a different viewpoint, and it's like I can ride with that. I can ride with it. She comes with some cold hard facts. She tells it how it is, like it is, and she's not gonna hold her tongue for anybody. And then I guess when the young lady that had went viral for saying the reason why folks is burning businesses down is because of the fact that most of the businesses there, they have broke the social contract. Not even then, but the American society broke the contract with its people, and so as far as retaliation goes, that's the only way businesses are able to kind of figure out, like, okay, we really got to change some things. She had her on, and they had a wonderful conversation, and I was like, wow, like, that's amazing. And even then, after that, that's why I was like, you know what, let me see if she's on Twitter. So I followed her on Twitter, and a lot of the posts she posts on Twitter is very thought-provoking, very thought-provoking. I'm like, I can ride with that. And so messed around, followed her. Every now and then I'll respond, and then she'll like my post, and then she'll respond back. I'm like, holy cow, like, really? That's awesome. And so she's one of those type of people where it's like she's not too big to be able to interact with people that make sense, and I like that, to be able to have that interaction where it's like, if I say something, or if I like something, or whatever the case may be, if she has the time for it, that she's willing and able to respond. And it's like, yes, like, I like that. So Karen Hunter, shout out to you. I do follow you on Twitter and whatnot. And even if you don't follow me back, I don't care. I just think that you're awesome. I love your work. I love what you do for the Black community, especially for our Black women. I do. Keep up the good work. Keep up the good work.
Yeah, I should watch some of her stuff. I just don't really end up keeping up a lot with different shows like that. Like, I'll see clips maybe here and there or something. I don't know. It just happens, and then it gets lost in the ether. But I do have respect for her because the conversation was a good one. And there were people in McCoy who had connections with her, who were able to reach out to her. She was very responsive. So yeah, definitely respect to her. Which, speaking of, since we, I can't leave her out, but a true inspiration, if we're going to talk about politics, I mean, there's definitely different people who've gotten into office who are the first. Just changing the demographics are pretty strong right now when it comes to a lot of office. And 2022 is going to be crazy.
Oh yeah.
And we already have our very own Erica
Rose,
who really is a real inspiration.
Yes.
I hope she's watching this. If not, at least someone pass on the message. I mean, she knows that we love her. She loves us. We are, it's all really great. Just seeing some of the things in her campaign. And so, just some of the reaching out to kids, having kids' voice at the table in the district that she's running for in California, just a lot of stuff. Being a teacher, particularly STEM, I believe math and science in her case. And so, like, there's just a lot of, it's very interesting to kind of see, like, wow, that's already and she is working full time. I wasn't 100% sure. So that's already like superhuman beyond belief to do all that in a pandemic, and then run for office, which is like its own demanding thing.
I have two
So
kittens. And have two kittens.
That part, yes.
cats are definitely a thing.
So she's a cat mom and a teacher, and she's. I can't remember the last like video I've seen of her where she's like not out on the streets pounding the pavement. Like she's been working hard like nonstop. Like I don't understand. Like that's insane.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Insane.
Yes. Shout outs to you, Erica Rhodes. We love you.
California District 30, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. I mean, and again, Toby, just to echo what you said, 2022, it's going to be a crazy year. Crazy year, especially with all these elections going on. We like I said, we got our own Erica Rhodes, California 30. And even then, I found waiting for her, and one of the guys asked me, like, hey, when are you going to come out to California to do some canvassing? I'm like, whenever she says she wants me to come out, I'll be out there, and then hopefully I'll be able to meet you. And we can have a sit-down conversation and pass along the message to vote for Erica Rhodes come 2022.
That's true. We haven't met Erica in person, have we?
No.
We haven't even met each other in person. So.
No. Yeah.
Pre-pandemic, people really weren't.
Yeah. That's insane.
Yeah. And like I said, the guy was real cool about it. He was real cool, real chill. He was like, yeah. He's like, the current rep we got sucks and whatnot. He's like, but it's good to have somebody that's here trying to help out the community. He's like, because we need a lot of help. I'm like, well, she's the one you need to look at it. Look at her website, donate if you can, and even if you can't donate, volunteer, whatever you could do, because she's going to need it. She's going to need it.
Absolutely.
So
yeah, in fact.
Congress.com.
I was literally about to get the website and send it in the thing. Erica for Congress.
There you go.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah, you beat me to it.
All right, you guys. Boom. So if you want to support Erica, donate is up.
Yeah. Check that link. If you're in California, 30th District, which I believe is like some region of LA, it sounds like.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, because LA is so big. I didn't realize like LA is so big that it's not even like one district.
Yeah.
LA is huge.
I've never been out there. I mean, I would love to. I'd love to go to the West Coast and visit California.
That's where I was born at, and it was like, yeah, I was born in LA.
Oh, okay, that's what's up.
Oh, okay. I didn't even know that piece of information.
Yeah. I was born in. Huh?
How long did you live there?
I was there until I was about like 5, and in the place where I grew up at, it was South Central LA, so it was like smack dab in the hood.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we've heard the rap songs. We've heard the rap song South Central LA.
Oh man, no.
From and like all of them, all of NWA, I think is from South Central.
No, but the one song that I did relate to was Dr. Dre and Tupac, California. And I was like, yeah, like that's my song because that's where I was born from. Like, but the people are like, but you didn't live there. Like, it don't matter. That's where I was born. Like, y'all got your own music. Like, California, that's me. Yeah. And so like, okay. So I got a birth certificate. Sure enough, yep. LA, California, Los Angeles County. I'm like, yeah. So I still got to go back and visit because there's family over there that haven't seen me since I was a baby. I got family over there that hasn't seen me since I was a baby. And again, like I said, my dad, yep, nice.
Yes.
100%.
Yeah.
I'm excited for Reverend Wendy.
Me too. Oh man, yes. Shout out to Reverend Wendy too. Oh, she's another inspiration.
For sure.
She's another inspiration. I mean, we've had her on talk about mental health in the Black community, and that was huge. That was so huge. Yeah. And even then, it's like it's a topic that most people don't talk about, even within their own homes, but it's needed, you know. And you don't know what that person is going through. You don't know what that person is thinking about. And even then, they could be having a hard day, though they may smile about it and laugh and joke. But truly on the inside, they're probably reaching out, crying out for help. I need somebody to listen to me just for once, you know, and just let me know, like, hey, it's going to be all right. You're going to be okay. Yes, what happened at work, it sucked. And yes, I understand you want to blow the building, but you can't do that. You go to jail for that. I ain't got bail money to bail you out. I don't. However, what we're going to do, we're going to sit here, we're going to eat some sushi, we're going to watch some anime, we're going to have a good time. Yes.
That solves a lot of things.
Yes. Yes. And even then, you know, because of the fact that and because of the fact that she pushes mental health so hard in the Black community, you know, it's like I respect that. I do. And so it's like kudos to her too as well. And not only that, but she's a reverend. So yeah, she's a reverend, and then she's also a counselor. If memory serves me correct, she's a counselor. And so she has, so she has a lot going on as well. So it's like, if y'all can support, go ahead and support them women of the Yang Gang, and let's make 2022 happen. And bam, there we go.
Yes.
Check the link.
Yep. Dropping it now. So if you guys want to donate or sign up for Reverend Wendy, link is right there. We'll also, matter of fact, since we got these links up, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to post the links as well in the description box so we can have them.
Okay.
Check the MF description. Whew. And this is like an aside. I don't know if I would say they're like close like what do you call it? Close like inspirations. But I kind of commented to myself like 2019 is the year of the female rapper. Though the 2020 I think ended up actually being that year. But 2019 had that vibe where it was like who are all these, at least to me, were new, or they had breakout hits. And so I was like, that's like just a big industry changer to see more women of color, Black women in particular, just dropping a lot of hits. And these were playing in parties. I mean, this was because I didn't grow up like. I mean, there were definitely people. There was obviously Nicki. There was people before that, back when I was like a child or even like not alive. Like I wasn't really hip to. Oh my gosh, MC Light. I think she actually was the host for one of the Nesby conferences, which is so interesting because I think she's from. Oh man, what year was this? MC Light is from. She's from Brooklyn. When? Yeah, I don't remember which year this was that she was. Okay, looks like it was 2018 in Pittsburgh. So I was like, look at her uplifting the community, getting Black people into engineering, and but for me, like it was before my time. So I was like, I'm glad this MC Light person is headlining this conference. Well, y'all who actually are more hip are like, MC Light. But the point is, I wasn't hip to the OGs of the female rappers. Obviously, you have like Missy Elliott, you have all these people. but kind of to see so many people break onto the scene, like Sweetie, you had City Girls, you had Cash Doll, is that her name? Who did Miss Me Out? Yeah. So there's a lot of just, and then of course R&B too. Like let's not even forget about like so many. I can't even keep up. You had like I don't know a lot of songs from like Summer Walker and like Ari Lennox, but I know there were like big names that people talk about a lot. Who was the big one? Mia. She did Boot Up and Trippin'. Ella May. I was like Mia. Ella May. There's like so many of these kind of like up and coming or like people who've kind of made it. R&B was always a field that had a lot of Black women anyway, but it still was kind of nice to see a ton of.
Did you mention her? I don't know for you.
Oh no, her. Yeah, that there was like this like neo soul / some people call alternative R&B, where it's like you have the trap infused influence, and her definitely had a lot of that like slow music. I kind of think Bryson Tiller as well. Maybe Tory Lane. Tory's done a lot of stuff, but Bryson Tiller kind of has that.
Yeah, and I think Ari Lennox does too.
Oh, she does too. So that's the thing is I would have to go through some of their albums.
Chloe and Halle Bailey.
Okay. Yeah, they were big on. I heard them on the radio.
I think it was funny when Halle Bailey was picked to play Ariel in The Little Mermaid, and everyone was like, "What? She's too old," or like, she's like, "No, it's not Halle Berry. It's Halle Bailey."
Yeah, I do remember people saying. Oh man.
Halle Bailey is like 20.
Yeah.
19 or 20 or something.
That's cool though. R&B sisters. It's just great. It's just the history is being made as we speak. Obviously Megan, I mean that's rapping, but like the whole Hot Girl Summer became like a huge cultural phenomenon in itself.
And I don't even listen to the Groundhog. I just listen to Megan Thee Stallion to tell me what the seasons are.
Wow.
Well, there you go. I mean, she did say she was a savage and whatnot. So like, boom.
It was a hot nerd fall one time. I was like, okay, thank you.
Hot nerd fall. I'm dead. Yeah. I can relate. Sign me up, please.
I'll take a hot nerd fall. That'd be awesome. Like, sure, why not? You know.
But I low-key think it's endearing that she calls her followers hotties. Like if you follow her on Twitter, she'll be like, "Hey hotties," something or another. It's like that's a nice like name, like a nickname for your your fans.
There you go.
Yeah. Hotties. Yeah, that's an interesting. Because I follow her on Instagram. I don't see a lot of her posts exactly, but like, there's definitely like a lot of stuff with trends, and yeah, she's cool people's. There's this one woman, 11.6K followers. I don't remember how many followers she had when I followed her, but her Instagram account is Blount Juice. Don't know what it stands for. Don't know really what that means, but Blount Juice. And she basically plays the violin. She does like violin covers. She has some really cool videos. She'll be like in the streets, be like walking around. Like, how are you like jumping around and dancing while like playing the violin? And so I'm gonna send this as well because I don't know. I was just so captivated. I was like, oh my gosh, it's so cool. So yeah. Oh, and there was someone I just saw actually. She won a competition last year. What were you about to say?
I was gonna say Lizzo when you like spoke of violin. I was like, well, Lizzo plays the flute, you know.
Lizzo, yeah, she's another cultural phenomenon. Yeah,
and she's from the beat, so that works.
Oh, okay, word.
Detroit, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So she's She's a hometown favorite as of right now. So it's like, yay, go Lizzo.
Yeah, and like she seems like she's like an artist, you know,
Oh yeah,
like an artist, which I really like. Because there's some people who just sing or just dance or like oh yeah you're a good singer, but you're probably not writing your own songs or anything. But she does write her own songs. At least I'm sure some of them. But I know like the big one like Truth Hurts. I believe she wrote like Why Are Men Great? Or like Until They Gotta Be Great. Like I think that like she wrote that.
yeah.
It took me a long time to really understand. You're just like sort of singing along to the song, but she was on the David Letterman, like My Next Guest Needs No Introduction on Netflix. And when they were talking about that, I was like, yeah, that's a great point. Like, why are men great till they gotta be great? Which is, I know it's like sort of a shitty thing to say in front of two men, but like, it's,
Hey,
it's like, yeah, like, it's like, yeah, you guys are like you, like me and the guy would be great and everything, just chilling and talking. It's all cool, but I don't know. He needs to go off and succeed hardcore, and then may turn into like somebody else. And it's like, okay, now you're not so great anymore. You're like this different person.
yeah, yeah. I mean, success does change people.
Yeah, sure. It's definitely any gender, but
Oh yeah.
I was just feeling it when I understood. Like, yeah, I get it.
Oh man, amazing. No, she's an inspiration of her own because she is plus size and she gives a lot of plus size girls hope and inspiration. Like it's okay to feel sexy in your own skin and to be able to feel comfortable with like I don't have to be a size 2 or a size 8 to feel beautiful. I could be a size 22 and still be beautiful. And she gives people zero cares in the world about how people look at her. She's like, I don't care. You can say what you want to say, feel how you want to feel. At the end of the day, people love my music, people respect my music, and I'm still going to make music for them and not for you, because I'm doing this, of course, for myself, but I'm also doing it for them. And a lot of people are like, we can vibe with that. We can vouch for that. And again, she plays a flute. Like, who plays a flute?
I know.
Like, who does that? But at the same time, does it well. She does it well. It's like, holy cow! Like, really, Lizzo? Like, you're awesome.
Mm-hmm.
You could rap, sing, and then turn around and play the flute, and it's like good. Like, oh, yeah, like, oh yeah, you got my vote. Like, I don't care what anybody says. Like, play a flute.
And apparently, like during her concert, she says like a lot of like positive affirmations and
yes,
back and forth to the audience and the audience to her and all that. It's like that's awesome. That would be like a really cool concert to go to where you're just like part of it,
Yes. I think. What was it? Was it last year or was it 2 years ago? I remember watching the was it the iHeartRadio Christmas special and she was on there, and like her performance was phenomenal. Was very phenomenal. I think it was like this was pre-COVID, so it was like 2019.
Okay.
2019, yeah, 2019. And she did the concert, and like a lot of people are like, wow. And she almost broke down crying because it was like a lot of people were cheering her on to perform, and she was like to be able to stand on a stage where a lot of people have crafted their art, their work for years, and here she is now, sharing the same stage as them. It's like it was nothing more than amazing and a miracle and whatnot. And it was like, yeah, you go ahead and you rock that concert. You did your thing, girl. You did your thing. So shout out to Lizzo. You're amazing.
Yes. I remember that performance now. Trying to remember where she got the award. But she did the flute performance, right? It kind of went viral, right? And then like around it was clapping and everything. Like I always remember seeing that short clip of like her just like in the middle of the dance and everything, just flute solo for like 10 seconds. And then it's just like, wow, okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing. We're just gonna flex a little bit. Cool.
Oh yeah. Like go ahead and flex on. Flex on. Well, lady and gent, it's been a fun ride. Does anybody have any final comments or tidbits before we wrap this thing up?
There was more on the kind of nerdy gaming side, but someone won the Netflix gaming tournament. This happened last year, though. Almost a year ago, because it was either summer or if not earlier. It was July. So the Black women, it was a team of all women, right? It was, like I said, women streaming kind of competition. I think there was some charity involved. Or maybe it wasn't charity. Maybe it was just women streaming. And the team that I think had maybe 2 Black women, but at least the lead, Jayla, she won. Or she led her team to victory. So that was cool. And the other thing that I actually remembered coming into this, but I forgot today, was I just saw an article about there was an article about, I think for the first time, Black women were promoted to commanders of like these Navy ships.
Yeah,
4 women. Sorry, what was that?
No, I'm just saying, I think I did hear about that.
I saw on YouTube, like I saw an article about it. Oh my gosh, and that led to like its own little thing of like, oh well, you hope we're choosing the most qualified. The thing that I remember some people in the comments are like, strange how this is never a question when white men are promoted to or got any kind of job, but only if you have a minority. Then people have to be like,
everybody is questioning it. Everybody at this job is questioning this. It's like, really? They get promoted? Why? Why did they get promoted? Guy who started 6 months ago? I'm kidding. It's not anything personal. I have no idea if there's anybody at my job who started 6 months ago.
Oh, yeah. We got to put that in there.
But that one literally happened. Actually, the article I shared, that's today. I saw it a few days ago. But this one was today, so that's interesting. Not to mention the woman I talked about before with Uncle Nearest and the whiskey brand, Black woman. What?
Meant to mention that. Yeah, that's awesome. I think I still have tab up, maybe not, but yeah, I definitely want to order that whiskey. But yeah, no, that's awesome about the gamer chick though, because I was listening to Yang Speaks today about the future of sports, and it was saying that maybe the next LeBron James will be a gamer. Probably in the next like 30 years or so.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because esports is massive. I always forget about that because I don't really go on Twitch that much, but like that's pretty much what Twitch is. It's just people streaming, and someone's gonna catch somebody, and then get marketed, and then just go up and up and up from there.
Oh yeah.
And you could just straight up, there's gonna get sponsors and all that. Like it's insane. Like, I always kind of mean to I always think about streaming. I don't really know how to. I think I need like a camera and all that. I don't know if I could just stream from my laptop and have it point at me, and then I'm on like my PS4 or my Switch. I don't know.
There you go. Yeah. I mean, Twitch, that's another topic for another subject, another subject for another topic for another day. Like, Twitch has revolutionized streaming as a platform and put it on its head, because not only are gamers getting recognized, but you also got up and coming music artists that are getting recognized too by performing on Twitch. So, you know, they have live concerts, they have like DJs playing music artists doing their craft and whatnot. I mean, I think there's a couple of music artists that are actually playing on Twitch. Like I think Soldier Boy, he's one of them. He has a Twitch channel, and then T-Pain, he has his own Twitch channel and whatnot. You know, and that's just some of the few that I know of that I see on my side. But Twitch has Whispering Eyes.
Wow, right when we talked about Twitch. Hello.
Hey.
Yeah.
Howdy. And again, you know, case in point, Twitch has, it's Joey. Who knows Joey?
I mean, I know of a Joey, but I don't know.
I know of a few Joeys too. I know what Joey from college, and from it says she. Okay, then I guess it's you.
Wait, yeah.
Joey? Joey B?
Oh.
No, the Joey I'm thinking of, his last name starts with an M.
We're gonna need some more hints, I guess. Twitch. That's interesting because that means how did you find this episode tonight? Were you on Twitter, or what platform did you see the link posted?
I only promote on Twitter.
Or you only promote on Twitter, right?
Yeah.
So.
Joey B? I'm on Twitter right now. Joey.
I mean, the name sounds vaguely familiar. Maybe not, actually. I'm making that up.
Is it? I'm going on Twitter every time.
It's okay. We're gonna.
Oh, was it? I think he was on last time.
I didn't know that he was on. There was someone who came on a few times.
His name was Joe, though. Joe BTC.
Oh, the name is too different.
Yeah.
I was even gonna say I remember that person, and I was like, I wonder if it's that person who I've seen who like only has a Twitter connection with you. I think so. That's why I was like, I don't know.
Oh, okay. I see that you follow him. Yeah. Okay. Yes. I know Joey. Sorry. Oh my goodness.
Oh man.
That's like don't. Yeah. I was like, maybe he's confusing me with somebody else. Like,
Oh.
Okay, yeah, I know. I didn't know he went by Joey. I just know his name is Joe BTC. So I'm like, I don't know what else to say. So, like there are people whose whole name is Joey though. Like that's like one of my good friends. Like it's not short for anything. He doesn't shorten it. It's just Joey. So no, don't apologize. It's fine.
You're good.
Yeah, it's totally fine.
You are good. You are good.
I'm just happy that we know who. It's like, okay, we do know each other. Okay.
It's okay. It's okay. Oh, wow. Wow. Awesome. Just glad that you showed up and everything else.
But we should definitely do an episode about Twitch or just streaming and things like that.
Yeah, it would be interesting to even try to. I mean, obviously, this thing streams to Twitch, but if we actually wanted to stream, I mean, I don't know what I would be doing, but
I know what I'll be doing.
You actually stream, so
yeah.
Oh yeah.
I think multiple. I mean, I sound so ignorant, but I don't know like how many people can stream at once, like in terms of with each other, or how that really works. Because I know like when Ninja and Drake, and then some third rapper, I'm pretty sure, or second rapper did that like at like that really famous game of Fortnite, they streamed together, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Crypto.
Yeah, awesome.
Actually, but I was talking with some people about crypto, a few people. They were African, actually, Kenyan particularly, and they were talking about crypto. One guy was Nigerian, but in any case, the crypto as a concept, of course, is big, but also some of the applications in quote unquote third world countries is also massive. Crypto and blockchain to get around some issues, as we can call it, when it comes to like traditional barriers, sending money or doing certain transactions. So that would be kind of cool.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we do need an episode about crypto.
Yeah.
I mean, it's gonna be confusing, but
That's okay.
I feel like with crypto, it's almost like talking about art, like in an art museum or something, where you could just sort of bullshit your way through, but it makes sense. Of course, like Joey's probably like, no, Elle, absolutely not.
Oh man.
It's like sometimes I'll be saying things and people are understanding what I'm saying, and I'm like, I don't even know what I'm saying. How are we having a conversation? Like I'm saying things that I'm saying words in a sentence. Yeah, so I heard about Akon with his A-coin.
Yeah, I saw the A-coin and I was like, oh wow.
An A-coin, I feel like I heard about it maybe like in 2019, 2018. It was a little while back. It wasn't like that recent.
Well, so the city he's been doing has been for a while, but I remember seeing an article like in that, Planet, Jobin, whatever, the Black Nerd group. I remember
someone journey of a Black nerd. Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess the E-Jobin, yeah. And I remember seeing that post in there, but I know some friends, like when I shared it, there were some friends who were like, yeah, this is not like one guy who is actually African. He's, he lived most of his life there. He's like, this isn't really it. I guess in terms of where the resources should be going or what it could turn into might not be accessible for everyone. I don't know. But that's a thing to talk about too, is the barrier of entry. It's supposed to be democratized, decentralized. Anyone can do it as long as you have the equipment. But
it became financially free thanks to Bitcoin. Oh my god!
Oh wow, that's awesome!
Holy shit!
And I hate everything because Bitcoin. I remember I got tagged on Facebook that Bitcoin hit like $400 something. This was like in probably 14, because it was my sophomore year of college, and I was like, I'm a pro college student. I'm not going to pay 400 something. I didn't know the concept of like partial anything. So I could have bought that, and if I bought 400, it would be 50,000 right now. If I bought even a sliver, it would have gone up. But it's fine, it's all good. And
what do you learn?
Yeah, we definitely need to do an episode about crypto. Maybe we could try to get a couple of people on.
Yeah, people who really like do things with it.
Yeah,
that would actually be pretty awesome. So, obviously, a lot of people who are interested, and of course, in McCoy, I've heard so many people talk about crypto, and I'm just like, man, a lot of people like crypto. But I
understand a little bit more. I've been like, I have the Coinbase app. I have like a recurring payment to this one. It's not even like I don't know if it's even a good thing. It's like it's the money that's used in this game called Decentraland. I literally just bought it because it has a cool name. Like their crypto name is like their ticket name is Mana, MANA, and you actually use that money to do things in this game called Decentraland. And I want to sign up and try to go into Decentraland because I feel like that might be a way to make money. Because like you can get maybe bits of Ethereum. So So I'm like, if I could play a game to make money, if I'm understanding this correctly, then why not? It's like a virtual land.
Yeah.
If I'm understanding it correctly. But you need like this particular kind of wallet. You need this kind of stuff. You need to sign up for certain things, and it's a whole lot.
So much steps. And I'm like, oh, steps. A lot of steps. Every single time you need to log back on or transfer things. But I actually was like, Binance was threatening to like lock me out of my account because I guess Binance is not the same as it was some years ago. So they are transitioning to, I think the US isn't supporting, Binance isn't supporting the US. So they have like a new app called Binance US, which apparently is trash, according to the Google Play reviews. So they were like, Binance, you're going to lose your stuff. Like they would basically lock my account. So I had to transfer some like Stellar, I think. I think that's XRP or something.
No, XRP is Ripple.
That's the one that people say not to do because I think XLM is Stellar. Yeah. So I transferred my Stellar out to like Coinbase. And I have some other random things like Neo and some other Monero maybe. I don't know what the heck I have. Oh, but someone told me, one of these guys, one of the guys that I saw this weekend, who was like, Monero is $1. He said, mark my words, this is a tip. By 2023, it's $20. This is not financial advice. So please don't put your life savings into this. But that's
disclaimer. That is Toby's disclaimer.
That's like a 2,000% increase. So I think if I did my math correctly, since it's going up 20 times, that's actually not how that works, I think, but it's fine. It's a lot of an increase. And that would be interesting. So Monero, Monero. I'm pretty sure that's the one he said. So
okay, yeah, that's just I would love to hear more about cryptocurrency because I'm hearing about NFTs, non-fungible tokens, and that's definitely going to be a massive thing, like without a doubt. Like even the NBA is already a little bit into it, like something called like NBA Top Shot. Wow. I do want to ask you something, Mr. Joey Whispering Eyes. Are we too late into getting into cryptocurrency? Or are we never too late?
Never too late.
Not too late, never too late.
And again, absolutely not. No.
And I feel like I'm late, but maybe I'm not. Not even close. Wow.
Yeah. I have to agree with him because I know I did a little small stint with Doggy Coin and whatnot. I made it. Yeah. I made $2 off of it, before it just went back and nosedive again. But even still, it was just one of those things where like, yeah, okay, I might buy back into it again because of, like any cryptocurrency, it is very much volatile. And so as long as you know when to buy, when to sell, and when to hold, when to fold up, Kenny Rogers and whatnot, you're good. No, it's not Kenny Rogers. Is it Kenny Rogers?
I can't even tell you.
I don't know. I'm not familiar. I have I feel like Dogecoin is just crazy enough to be as big as Bitcoin or Ethereum because I've been a Redditor for 9 years now. Like the other day was my cake day. So I've been a Redditor for 9 years. And just seeing the evolution of Reddit, it makes me realize what internet spaces like Reddit can do to influence and change the entire world. Like we just saw with Wall Street Bets, the subreddit, just like 2 months ago with the whole GameStop thing. So, and I mean, Wall Street Bets wasn't a subreddit that I followed, but if I was like into a stock and I saw it on Wall Street Bets, so it kind of made me feel like a little bit better. But yeah, so just seeing this subreddit and now seeing it plastered all over the news. And so I know that like small communities can influence, like the larger population, the larger whole. Depends on who's following these communities. It could be the same thing in Clubhouse. The next Wall Street Bets situation could be in a conversation in Clubhouse. It could be in some place in VR, there's VR spaces that we just don't know about because we don't have an Oculus or whatever Valve Index, I think is what their VR headset is called. So we don't know of these spaces, but there's conversations in these spaces that are happening that can change our world in any way. So, like Elon Musk might be like pushing Doge. I don't know. I know he bought a ton of Doge, I think for like his kid. I know he's also trying to do a lot of stuff with Bitcoin, but it's because he has a whole bunch of fucking money, so of course he can do that. But it kind of just makes me wonder, like that's why I bought. I mean, like when it was like, because right now it's only at 5 cents, so it's like, let me buy an okay amount, but just keep it, just let it sit there forever, because it wasn't a huge burden on my pocket. Like I think in total I spent like $40, but there was a time when I bought it at like 0.008, which isn't even a cent. It was less than a cent. I bought like a ton, and then now it's up to 5 cents. So I'm like, let me just buy it like an okay amount and just let it just sit there forever and see what happens.
Yeah.
I didn't spend a whole bunch of money. It didn't like break my wallet. So it's like, would I wish that I bought more in the future? Maybe, but if it were to get to the, as big as like even Ethereum or some of the others, I think Lisk is like $200 a share, if I'm not mistaken. And if I have like 1,000 coins and Dogecoins about, and that's a lot of money. If it were to get up to like $200 a share. So like it's just crazy like how money works. That's how I'm seeing it. It's like, there's no skin off my nose. Let it just sit there, let it just ride and do whatever the hell it needs to do. There's probably gonna be some sort of thing that's gonna happen in the future in like a year or two, maybe even later this year. And it's gonna cause Dogecoin to just skyrocket to, 10 cents. And now, and like, once it gets to 10 cents, now you're probably thinking like, oh, this is something, that a dime is no small amount of, money for something that's like a plaything, that when you're like really into stocks. So then it can go up to $1. And then now shit's getting real. It's $1. And then $3 and so on and so forth. And this is probably like, you have to think in like, what's going to happen in 5, 10, 20 years. But it depends on what people view as valuable. You probably see Dogecoin as valuable because it reminds them of a funny time in their life. Or it could just be created into a whole new thing. Doge could have another meaning. And, just keep on keeping on. When it comes to anything besides Bitcoin.
Say less. I'm about to go to my Bitcoin or my portfolio, which I'm pretty sure I don't own any Bitcoin, but it's fine.
I think Coinbase gave me some free Bitcoin when I signed up, and I don't think I got anything. I don't think I got any through Cash App, but Coinbase gave me some free Bitcoin. I was like, all right, whatever. It was like But yeah, I guess with Bitcoin, you could just buy pieces of pieces. I guess they're called like Satoshis. Satoshis?
That's the smallest unit, I think.
Yeah. I think like 1,000,000 Satoshis, 1,000 Satoshis equal 1 Bitcoin or something. So I also call them sats. But yeah, no, this will definitely be a conversation for another time. Once again, I barely know what I'm talking about. I just understand that if you buy low, you sell high.
Hi, that came from Schoolhouse Rock.
Oh, really? Of course, this is no advice, but I feel like that's pretty common knowledge with anything. You buy low, you sell high. I'm not giving anybody any sort of like mind-blowing advice with buy low, sell high. It's like, what?
No.
I thought you were supposed to do the opposite.
I thought it was a buy high, sell higher. That's the dangerous one too. But what if it doesn't go higher? Whoops. Yeah, there's a whole lot of stuff, and
Yeah,
I think like with least stocks and other stuff, it's super quick. Like I can just go in and buy if I want. With crypto, I mean the partial shares is nice, which you can, or partial amounts is nice, which you can do now with some stocks that you couldn't do before. But
Right.
I think I just don't monitor it as much, and I don't trade. So there's certain platforms that I think are good for buying and holding, certain platforms that are better for trading. So I think Coinbase Pro, which used to be GDAX, I don't know if Bitcoin bought them, or Coinbase bought them, but I always knew that I was seeing recently how trading versus sort of holding is different. And I don't trade. That's things I don't trade even like stocks. So I don't really know what I would be doing with like a more advanced platform that's meant for trading, because I don't really check signals. I don't have automated anything. And technically, I could write some kind of script, but at that point, that's like dangerous because you really don't want to mess up if you're trying to like automate something like that. Besides like built-in tools that you can use for like limit sells, market, whatever, the things that are similar to stocks. I guess besides the bare bone tools, I haven't really messed around. So it would be great, and I look forward to that conversation.
Yeah.
And I know there's some groups on Facebook for those who are there. Once the whole Wall Street bets thing happened, there were some Facebook groups that basically, if they weren't active, they at least became more active, or they got created to talk about crypto, to talk about the NFT, whatever, to talk about stocks. I don't really follow what happens, but I see them sometimes on my timeline. So
yeah.
Crypto is going to be a real discussion.
Yeah. Not even just stocks. I think crypto needs to be its own episode. Just crypto.
Oh, that's what happened? I actually didn't know what really happened with Greece, except jokes about them not having an economy anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, it's midnight on our side of the United States.
It just hit 12. Oh man.
Yeah. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we got to get some rest.
Yeah, but
We
don't
gotta-
forget to love Black women.
Yes, love Black women and show Black women support because they need it. And again, just love on them. Love on them, respect them, support them.
No matter what they look like.
Facts.
Their hair is in a bonnet going to the grocery store. If they are unattractive, if their hair is messed up, if they're darker than midnight, you gotta still love them all the same.
True.
You're welcome.
We love you guys. we will catch you guys next week. And next week is the start of a new month, so we got new topics. So stay tuned.
New guests.
Oh yeah, that too. We got new guests, new topics. Yeah.
Episodes.
Yes. Holy cow. I mean, everything is all new. So stay tuned. Again, if you haven't done so, please like, share, thumbs up. If you're on Twitch, follow, hit that notification bell. And if you're feeling kind of generous, subscribe to the channel. You don't have to, but go ahead and subscribe to it. And everything else, we'll work on getting emojis created. We need somebody who can create emojis to go ahead and make some for our McCoy Twitch account.
I could probably do that. How do you make an emoji?
I don't know how to do it. I'm not a graphic designer. I'm not a graphic artist. My art skills are zilch. Nada. It is not there. That is not my lane.
I mean, I could try. I do think we should try to create a new logo, personally.
Yeah.
That's for an offline discussion.
Yeah.
That part. So, with that being said, everybody, YouTube is the new college.
Yeah, that's free college.
Yeah. Yeah. There's some truth to that.
Yeah.
Definitely some truth to that. YouTube has saved my skin more than once.
Mm-hmm. YouTube helps me fix my car.
There you go. There you go. All right, you guys, we got to go. We'll catch you guys next week. So, good night.
Good night.
Peace.
Well,